What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. Now, the Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl era have not really had the greatest team success, and to say the very least, they haven't been the greatest organization in football for quite a long time. Now, one of the biggest reasons for that and one of the Detroit Lions' everlasting problems is their culture. They've never been able to build a culture. They've never been able to build an identity to fall back on. They've never really had that Lions way or that Lions culture that the NFL can recognize them as. They've never had that Lions culture that the teams and fans can know them as. The Baltimore Ravens have this culture of brotherhood. They have this culture of good defense where they're always going to have a solid defense. They're always going to be a close team. They're always going to have this brotherhood. And if somebody comes in and tries to ruin that, or somebody comes in and tries to disrupt that, like Earl Thomas did earlier in the season, earlier in the preseason, they're going to cut him no matter how good of a player he is. That's just the culture the Baltimore Ravens have built. The Green Bay Packers have good culture. The Kansas City Chiefs have good culture. The Bill Belichick Patriots have great culture in their organization, but the Lions have never really been able to find that team culture or that team identity pretty much since the Super Bowl era began and the AFL and the NFL merged together. However, in recent weeks and months, and even really dating back to the preseason, the Detroit Lions, along with their new owner in Sheila Hamp, have really been working hard and working towards building a good Detroit Lions culture in the Motor City, and so far, they have been doing a phenomenal job, and I wanted to talk about it today, talk about the culture they are building, talk about what steps they're taking and how different this team is under Sheila Hamp, and the different steps they are taking that are, untraditional and different from what they've done in the past that make me believe that they are truly dedicated to building the Lions way, and that they are truly dedicated and they are going to build a very successful organization with a very unique and very good Detroit Lions culture that they can be identified as and that will help the team moving forward. Now, before we get into this video, if you are new to the channel and are enjoying this Detroit Lions content, please consider liking the videos and subscribing to the channel. It takes only 2 seconds out of your day to do so. Helps me out so much, helps the channel out so much. It's free. There's no consequence. It takes 2 seconds. There is no downside to it. So if you could just take those 2 seconds to like and subscribe, I'd be greatly appreciative. And if you like the content enough, consider hitting the notification bell so you never miss an upload. But with all that being said and without any further ado, let's get into talking about the culture that the Detroit Lions are building and talk about the Lions way that the Detroit Lions and Sheila Hamp are trying to install in the Detroit Lions organization. Now, the Detroit Lions are trying to build a culture in the Motor City. Sheila Hamp has been trying to build a culture pretty much since she's gotten there. Even in her first days as the owner and as the chief owner of the Detroit Lions, things changed under Sheila, and the team got better for it, and the team became a better organization for the changes that she made. And she has not taken a single step back. Every single day, every single week, she seems to be taking steps forward and forward and forward, and taking this team ever so slightly closer to a Super Bowl champion. And that a lot of that falls on Sheila Ford. A lot of the success and a lot of the change we've seen in the organization ultimately falls on Sheila Hamp, and that is a great thing to see from our owner, that she isn't content. She isn't okay with being average or being just good. She wants to be great. She wants this organization to be great, and so far she's taken all the necessary steps to take this team in the right direction to succeed. Now, the Lions are building a culture both on and off the football field. We'll start on the football field with Darrell Bevell, with the firing of Matt Patricia and the installation of interim head coach Darrell Bevell. Now, the Detroit Lions are much better under Darrell Bevell, and everybody can see that. All Lions fans can see that this team is better under Darrell Bevell, and there's several reasons for that. I think Darrell Bevell's culture, I think Darrell Bevell's ideology just fits what the players want better. He's more of a players coach than Matt Patricia, and players tend to respond to that much more than they would to a down to business, my way or the highway kind of a coach like Matt Patricia was. The Detroit Lions have had probably 2 of their best 3 offensive footballing games in the past 2 weeks under Darrell Bevell. This offense looks better. The defense is not great, but even that, it looks better, and I'm seeing them make certain adjustments that can help the team win football games. It might not be perfect, but it is much better than what we saw earlier in the season, and just overall, this team is much better. They've gotten their first divisional win in over a year and a half. I mean, they beat the Chicago Bears for the first time in over 3 years. Like, they are a much better football team now than they were even a few weeks ago under Matt Patricia, and a lot of that falls on Darrell Bevell, and I think the biggest difference you can see in the Detroit Lions mentality, in the Detroit Lions culture, culture that they are trying to build on the field is, if you go back, and I saw this video the other day and I thought it was very interesting, if you go back and you look at Matt Patricia's first win, a very impressive win versus a very good New England Patriots squad that I believe went on to win the Super Bowl that year. If you look at the ending of that game and you look at the celebration that the players had and you look at how Matt Patricia was treated by his players, the game ended, nobody was around Matt Patricia. Matt Patricia walked out to the center field by himself, shook Bill Belichick's hand, and walked into the locker room. There was no celebration by the players. There was very little congratulations for their head coach, and there was very little enthusiasm for their head coach after the first victory of his career as a head coach. However, if you go to the first victory of the Darrell Bevell era, if you go to the first victory under interim head coach Darrell Bevell, you see him dapping up players. You see him high-fiving and hugging and laughing with his players. Even as soon as the game clock hit zero, you see him celebrating with his players. You see the players come up to him and celebrate with him and laugh with him and joke with him and shake his hand and give him a hug and, congratulate him and all this. And Matt Stafford even gave him the game ball. Like, there is a huge difference in those two scenes and in those two scenarios. And, I know it's a very small sample size, right? I know it's only a couple seconds, a couple moments after the football game, but, there's a big difference you can see in the players when either, they go to their head coach to congratulate him after a win, or they just leave him to go shake hands with the coach and they meet him in the locker room. The difference there is astronomical, and you can see the difference between how they act with Matt Patricia and how they act under Darrell Bevell. It's a huge difference, and I think that is the first step to building a culture on the field, is have fun, enjoy your job, enjoy playing for the Lions, love your coach, love playing for your coach, love playing for your teammates. That's something that was never there under Matt Patricia, and that's something that in just 2 weeks, Darrell Bevell has worked very hard to install in this organization, and so far we're seeing the benefits and we're seeing the change that this Lions team has in a mentality standpoint, and we're seeing different and better results on the field already in just a short amount of time. On the field success is huge for the Detroit Lions. On field culture is very big for the Lions, but front offices need a culture too. Front offices need the right people, they need the right culture, they need the right guys in the building to make the right decisions, and for a long time the Detroit Lions did not have that. For the longest time, the Detroit Lions had a lot of business people in charge. They had a lot of, mathematical brains. They had a lot of scientific and marketing brains and management brains, and they knew how to run the Detroit Lions as a business, but they did not know how to build the Lions and make the Lions into a good football team. They were running a business in Detroit more so than they were running a football team. In some cases, that is not a bad thing. Obviously this team needs to make money. Obviously this team needs some good marketing, some good business minds behind it to make the team successful from a financial standpoint, but the Lions never had a great footballing mind in the organization. They never really had a great footballing mind in the front office, and now under Sheila Ford, they have that. They hired both Chris Spielman and Barry Sanders to help search for the general manager, and Chris Spielman's job is not just to find the general manager and he's gone. He has a long-term position with the Detroit Lions. I'm not sure the exact specifics of it just yet, but he quit his job at, whatever broadcasting place he was from, whatever network he was on. He quit his job there and went to the Detroit Lions to help build this organization, and I believe he is going to be Rod Wood's footballing mind. Rod Wood is a very smart person. He's very good at running a business. He's very good at making money, but he is not a footballing mind, and he's said that before. He said that he is not the greatest football mind. He has said that he is not the greatest at running a football team, but he is much better at running a business. So he and Sheila Ford Hamp went out and they decided to get a football mind, a guy that's played in Detroit before, a guy that has a good football mind, a guy that knows a lot about the game, a guy that knows what it takes to be successful within the game, and he is going to act as Rod Wood's footballing mind. He is going to act as the guy who makes the football decisions more so than the business decisions, and that is something the Lions have not had before. That is something the Lions have not had in their front office in a very long time, and we've seen it before with other NFL franchises. We've seen other former players, Hall of Fame players, icons of the organization have an input on the organization. The Lions have never had that before, and now they're finally starting to develop that, and they're starting to adapt their tactics to bring in more footballing people. They're starting to bring in more football minds that can help the football team be a better football team and not just a better business. They're trying to win football games and not just make money anymore, and that is the first step to building a successful franchise. Is you can't just have business-minded people in the building. If you want to win games, you have to have football minds. You have to have guys that know the game inside and out. You have to have guys that are committed to winning and know what it takes to win football games, and Chris Spielman and Barry Sanders definitely fit the mold of that, requirement. They definitely fit that requirement for players and for front office people that need to know how to play football. They need to know the game. They need to be experienced within the game, and they need to know what it takes to win. Barry Sanders and Chris Spielman are those players for the Detroit Lions. They are the icons of the organization. They are the people that are committed to helping this team win, and bringing both former players. I know Barry Sanders is a Hall of Famer. I'm not sure if Chris Spielman is a Hall of Famer. I have the thing right there, so I'll check, and I'll obviously put it in editing. But Chris Spielman is an icon of the organization. Barry Sanders is the icon of the organization. They are bringing in former players that have arguably the best success in franchise history in the Super Bowl era, and the guys that have contributed to the most success in franchise history. They are bringing in those guys to help build the Lions way. And I believe Chris Spielman just quoted that. I believe he said that. He said, I'm trying to build a Lions way. I'm trying to build a Lions culture here in the front office and in the locker room. And, that mentality of building the Lions way, not copying the Patriots way, not bringing in Robert Saleh to copy the 49ers way, building the Lions way, building the Lions culture is going to be huge for this organization. And, Sheila Hamp has taken all the necessary steps to put this team in a situation and to bring in the right people to build said Lions way. You look at the difference in, interviewing in different GMs. Now, I wasn't the biggest fan when we hired Bob Quinn. I don't know how many interviews we had, but the Lions are going very in-depth and being very thorough with their interviewing process thus far in the NFL season. And this is even before all the big name guys can even be interviewed. The Lions have already interviewed 7 people, or have scheduled 7 interviews with potential GM candidates in the past week. And again, this is before everybody that has a job right now in the NFL, everybody that has a job as a general manager or as a player or as a player personnel person or somebody like that, anybody that has a consistent job right now within the NFL cannot be interviewed by the Detroit Lions. And they have already interviewed 7 candidates or scheduled 7 interviews for the GMing spot. They are not leaving a single stone unturned. If you have footballing experience, you are going to get an interview. The Lions might call me up if I ask and give me an interviewing job for the Detroit Lions general manager, because truly they are being as thorough as possible. They are leaving no stone unturned. If you have even the slightest potential to be a possible GM in the NFL, the Lions are going to give you an interview. If you have even the slightest IQ of football, you have even the slightest experience working with players and working with scouting and drafting and all that, and any skill it takes to be general manager, the Lions are going to take a look at you and be a potential landing spot for you, because again, they are committed. They are not leaving a single stone unturned. They are interviewing everybody, and that's exactly what they should be doing, and it's exactly what they should have been doing for a very long time. The Lions under Sheila Ford have not been the greatest team, right? It's been one season, whatever. It is what it is, and you can't control that necessarily. She doesn't have the biggest influence right now, but everything that she has done recently has helped this team get in a better position. She has fired Matt Patricia for not being good enough. She has fired Bob Quinn for not being good enough. She is being very thorough. Her and Rod Wood are being very thorough with the interviewing process. They're bringing in former players. They're bringing in good football minds to help this team win more games. They are bringing in the right people to this organization finally, and this move, I think bringing in Chris Spielman, bringing in Barry Sanders, being thorough with your interviewing process, not taking good, but taking and only accepting great. These are the trademarks of a good NFL franchise. These are the trademarks of a great NFL franchise. These are the steps that the Baltimore Ravens and the Green Bay Packers and the New England Patriots and the Pittsburgh Steelers have all taken before they become successful. They get footballing minds in the building. They are very thorough, and they do not accept good. They only want greatness. They don't accept okay. They don't accept good. They require and demand greatness. They don't just have business people, they have football people in the building. That was the big problem with the Cleveland Browns for a long time, is I believe their GM got them a ton of money, got them a ton of cap space, got them a ton of draft picks, and even got some decent talent in there. But until the footballing minds got there, the Cleveland Browns were never able to accomplish anything as an organization, because they were running a successful business, but they weren't running a successful football team. So, and the Detroit Lions have been the same way for a very long time. And finally, with the hire of Chris Spielman and the dedication to find the right person for the right position and the right jobs, the Lions are finally taking the right steps to become a good organization. The Detroit Lions are finally taking those first steps towards a Super Bowl, and we've taken a couple steps here and there under Sheila Ford. Like, she's very dedicated to winning. She would hire anybody if she thinks it would help the Lions. She's fired Matt Patricia. All of those have been single steps forward to be a successful organization. But in the past couple of weeks, with all the interviews, with all all the, work and all the effort that they've put in the past couple of weeks, with all of the work that they've put in hiring and, interviewing and giving everybody a chance and leaving no stone unturned, and, bringing in Chris Spielman and bringing in Barry Sanders and bringing in all these different people, it is a good move by the Detroit Lions, and they're finally starting to take significant progress. They're finally starting to make significant progress forward for this organization and, taking them in the right direction by quite a lot. The Lions are building their culture. Sheila Ford came in and wanted to build the Lions way. They wanted to build the Lions culture, and so far, that is exactly what they are doing. They've been a very successful team at doing so far. They seem to be very successful at it so far, and it's only going to get better. They're only going to interview more people. They're only going to have more candidates. They're only going to get better from here. So Sheila Ford, I know I've talked about her a lot. I know I've, talked a lot about Sheila Ford and whether she's the savior or the same old Ford. So far, Sheila has taken this team in the right direction. So far, Sheila Ford has been very good with the hires she's made, with the decisions she's made. And, Sheila Ford, I think, is smart enough to know that, this team wasn't good enough. Sheila Ford is smart enough to recognize that we didn't have the football minds. We didn't have the right people in here to coach a good football team. We're making money. Yeah, we're coaching a good business, and that might be good enough for Martha, but that's not good enough for Sheila. She doesn't want to just make money. She wants to be successful. She wants a ring. She wants a Super Bowl ring. She wants the Lions to be successful. She wants everything that the Lions fan base wants, and that aspect in the owner and that determination and that willingness to do everything in her power to make the team successful is what will make the Lions a good organization, and it is what has improved this organization astronomically in the short time that she's been in the short time that she's been the primary owner of the Lions. As I said in the beginning, the Lions are building a culture. The Lions are building their way. They're building the Lions way. They're building the Detroit way, and that is the exact way and the exact process that they need to go through if they want to be a successful team in the long term. If they want to be a good team for a long time, they have to build a Lions culture. And so far, in the short time that Sheila's been there, she has built a much better culture than her mother did. She is continuing to build up said culture. She's continuing to build up and improve this organization on the daily. And, it's not going to be very long until this team has success, because Sheila is dedicated to success. Sheila is, doing everything in her power, and she's willing to do anything within her power to make this team successful. And with those traits in the general manager, and with the track record and with the resume that she has put together so far, I have no reason to believe that this team will get any worse, and I only have reason to believe that this team is going up. This team will be on the rise. This team is going to get better in the very near future, and all of that credit has to come back to Sheila Ford Hamp for doing such a fantastic job as ownership so far. Now, with all that being said, that is all I got for you guys today. Again, I think the Lions are building a great culture in Detroit, and it is going to pay off very, very soon for this organization. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you guys think the Lions are building a good culture, or do you think it might take a little bit more time to get to the spot where the Lions want to be? Let me know that down in the comments below. But with all that being said, that is all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. If you are new to the channel, as I said in the beginning, please consider liking the videos and subscribing to the channel. It helps the channel out more than you could know. It helps the channel out it helps me out more than you could know. So if you could do that, just take those 2 seconds to like and subscribe. I'd be greatly appreciative. But with all that being said, that is all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you all tomorrow with more Lions content. Thank you all for watching. Bye, guys.